Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball. New York, New York. The Mets survive to play another day, and the Yankees win another. I don't even know, man. Let's talk ball. Feel like I've been beat up.
You know what I am?
Hideo Nomo.
Big Christmas.
I was Josh Naylor.
Oh.
Hello and welcome to Talkin Baseball, presented to you by SeatGeek, the official ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball. The playoffs are here. If you didn't know, I don't know. You're just listening to hear our voices, and we still appreciate that. Code JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10, whether you're a first-time buyer or not. You can use the code now. You can load the code into your SeatGeek app and use it whenever you want to use it. So what are you doing? JOHNBOYPLAYOFFS10. Save 10% off your next purchase at SeatGeek. Jake Storielli here at Talkin' Jake. Trevor Plouffe out on the West Coast at TNasty69420. BBD producing his buns off. Same username. Trev, the blowout series kind of continues to live up to its name, and the Yanks guards put us personally through a ringer. Shout out to the kid Mero who came through and streamed with us tonight. It's always interesting when you're going to lock yourself in a room for 4 hours and kind of feel pain through sports, and he was awesome. And the Guardians-Yankees series the past two nights, and I feel I can say this, people know I'm a Yankees fan, but incredible baseball, and I don't know, there'll be off-season times when we can talk about, like, what do we need to do with bullpens, because we got guys pitching with, like, their opposite arm at this point. Trev, how are you doing?
That was a lot. That was a big word salad right there.
It's a lot.
First of all, don't ever give out my OnlyFans username again.
Sorry.
Don't you ever do that. That's
bad.
private, and you know that. Yes, look, this is I've really enjoyed these playoffs. You know that. I think we've had some great games, some really, really special moments. You know, we've been talking about this Dodgers-Mets series as, you know, kind of being the blowout series, but I really feel like it's like saving up for something big. I hope it is, at least. But yes, the Yanks Guardian series has been something, man. It's been big homers. It's been there's some sloppy play, some sloppy toppy going on there, and we are seeing the overuse of bullpen arms. Essentially, that's what it kind of looks like to me. But we'll get into all of it, Pop. I'm excited to hear you burn these games. I'm excited to yuck some ball with you, and I do wonder, Jake. I do wonder sometimes if we didn't talk ball and we just did something else, would people listen? I think some people do tune in, don't really care about the ball. They just want to hear us share our thoughts. But I could be totally wrong about that.
Hate to say bye right now, but the biannual Wake and Jake episode that, you know, you hop on for, the people go nuts for. So, yeah, I mean, that's still sports and some ball, but hey, I don't even know where we're at right now. Me and Trevor are like flirting with each other.
Late,
I'm sorry.
dude.
It's fucking late. We're fucking tired. I'm sorry to cuss twice in front of your children if they're listening, but it's the CS. We've got two teams.
We've been streaming games every day. I'm sitting there in front of my TV. Life is going on around me.
Right.
I'm dialed in with a couple highlighters and my kids' art paper. I don't know what I'm doing with my life except yucking ball with the peeps.
We now have two teams on the brink of elimination. It's always been a cron pod for multiple reasons. Let's start off in Flushing's. The Dodgers trying to eliminate the New York Mets. Mets season on the line with early settler named David Peterson on the bump, while the Dodgers would go back, Jack, do it again as they try to Steely Dan one more win to get back to the World Series. A polar plunge in the first, Alonso, 3-run homer. Boy, did the Mets need that. And how about another 4 in the third? It's a Marte Parte. Francisco, that's fun to say. Alvarez and Lindor. Let's go Brandon as Nimmo gets one. 2 more in the 4th. Winker and McNeil. It's 10-2 Metropolitans, but what's dead can never die. Andy Bob Seeger tries to turn the page. I know it's Pajes 2-homer day for the kid in a quick game of Mookie Cookie, but it's not over yet. But it is. Mets survive 12-6. Game 6 Sunday in LA. I don't know, man.
You're all over the place.
I don't know, dude.
Mookie Cookie's crazy.
Take me outside by the shed. Just 2 quick ones.
You dropped a "Let's Go Brandon"?
I don't know, man.
You can't get political here.
I don't even, is it political? I have no fucking, I don't even know.
I don't know.
I kind of don't even know what side that joke lands on. I don't know.
Neither do I.
I just watch baseball and sweat.
All we freaking do is watch ball. I told you before the show, man. Like, I'm keeping these notes so I can come talk about this game. And I'm like, the intricacies of what's happening in the top of the first. Why didn't Shohei make a run for it on the ground ball to Francisco Lindor? And why were the Mets playing back when every single team plays up no matter what the circumstances now? Because that's what the numbers say. And I'm writing all this down. And I'm writing it down like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to talk about this. And then all of a sudden it's 10-2. And that has been this freaking series, man. That has been this series where it's been one team taking the other team out, giving them a spanking, and it hasn't been close, man. Like, gotta give credit to the Mets for coming back and putting a hurting on the Dodgers like this. And my boy Jack, he didn't look sharp today. He did not. He was throwing the slider all over the place, throwing it a lot. And that pitch that we just saw right there that Pete hit out, I mean, that was a good pitch. I mean, if you go look, when you go on like MLB.com and you see like the pitch sequence and you see where the pitch is on like game, whatever it's called, that's well below the strike zone. He went out and got that thing. That's a tip of the cap type moment. Pete Alonso coming up absolutely huge. Jack's velo was down today. The stuff wasn't very sharp. He was falling behind hitters. He had 32 pitches in the first inning. Like, it just wasn't happening. And I think, like you mentioned, at the end of the third, it's 8-1. It's 8-1, and the Dodgers and Dave Roberts are saying, okay, yeah, look at that pitch, man. That's for a homer dead central, that 4 right there. That is impressive. When it gets to 8-1 in the bottom of the third, it's what can we do to save our pitching is essentially what this game turns into. I don't think this offense can, go on a run, and they cut the lead down to 4 at one point, got it to 10-6 before the Mets scored in the bottom half to put them back up 5. But I don't know, man. Again, like, do we analyze every single inning here, or do we just say, wow, like the Mets came out and beat the Dodgers badly, and now it's going back to LA? I think that's what we have to say about this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's things to talk about, and like, hey, we talked about the Mets with runners in scoring position. They get a couple early, 5 for 19 at bats with runners in. That's
I got one thing. I just forgot to say on this rant real quick. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Please.
And is this a glitch? They didn't strike out once today.
It has the Mets with 0 strikeouts today.
Has that ever happened in a baseball game? Like, ever? Like, in the last 5 years, has there ever been a game without a strikeout? I don't know, people. It doesn't seem like it. Not today's ball. I thought that was wrong. It might be wrong.
No,
but I don't remember seeing any strikeouts, I guess. But
the home run sparked an incredible night for the Mets offense. One that did not include a strikeout by any New York hitter. It marked the first time a team hasn't struck out in a postseason game since the Angels in 2002 World Series against the Giants, rally monkey times. That was just off the top of my head, by the way.
you and Chris Rose.
Yeah.
Chris Rose would know something like that.
Some
And you know who was in the dugout for the opposing team?
Chris Rose just woke up with a boner in London.
That's insane, dude.
That's nuts, Trev. That's bollocks. Wow. Hey, okay, so that's something for the Mets. And all right, Dodgers, you probably don't want to hear a lot. You know, our guy Jack gets rocked around the park, like you said. Velo down, 4 walks, 0 Ks, 8 earnings. Brent Honeywell has to eat it. Our fingerprints all over this game, by the way. 67 pitches, 4.24 earnings. And yeah, I mean, it's okay, a little bit of good for the Dodgers. I mean, they still hit in this game, and they had a chance to make it scary. I mean, Frederick with the bases loaded.
They did. You're right.
That, you know, not a lot of teams would have done that. And let's be honest, I don't want to call them. This wasn't a punk game. They had Jack Flaherty with a chance to win, and if they had a chance to go win it, they would have. But
it's not a punt game. What do you mean?
Brent Honeywell throwing 4.2, like it's not like they were chasing.
Well, it became that. Yes, you're right. In the top of the 4th, Pages hits the homer, gets it to 8-2. Him and Alvarez are mad. I don't know what Alvarez is mad about. I don't know. What was he mad about? Did he pimped a homer? Dude, that's just
don't give it up
these days. And like you guys are saying, I remember you telling me this. Pimping home runs has been around forever, guys.
Yes.
I've always done it. I don't know why he was so mad at that. They exchanged some words. Who else? Muncy and Peterson exchanged some words. That was interesting. Maybe the Mets are just trying to fire themselves up. But then it's a Shohei Bloop single. Mookie walks. Teo walks. Bases loaded. Reed Garrett comes in. So they take the lefty out and bring in Reed, a righty, to face Freddie Freeman. And he works it to a 3-2 count. I kind of like Pages' reaction right there, to be honest. Like, what are you talking? What's just Freddie works it to a 3-2 count, and Reed throws an absolutely filthy backdoor slider and freezes him, strikes him out. That to me was when I was like, all right, this game is over. Like if Freddie comes up, obviously hits a shot in the gap there, all of a sudden it's 8-5 and we're talking, but you don't get too many of those moments in the game. And you knew that they were going to eventually, kind of close this game out. They bring in, I think what is considered their good bullpen. Stanek comes in, does a great job, and then Diaz comes in for the final 2 innings of work there. Yeah, I mean, they had to have it, obviously, and they got it. And now it is, let's go win against the Dodgers bullpen day in LA, and then we'll see what happens in Game 7. I mean, the Mets are right back in the thick of things.
Yeah, let's highlight the Mets a little more. Like that, I feel like that was targeted at the Dodgers. Obviously, Pete's home run is huge in a season do or die game. I mean, David Peterson works out of trouble in that first inning. That if things go awry, which they kind of started the game going awry,
yes,
like that, that feels a lot different for a fan base that's kind of used to pain. And an instant in that first inning, it goes the other direction. And then, yeah, I mean, the Mets kind of needed all of those 12 runs to make it not seem, 4 runs is kind of the new one in baseball. Like, it's always been there in a way because obviously one swing, but even like saves being within 3 runs. I think nowadays, if you're within 4, especially the Dodgers, it feels like it's there, and they push the envelope every time that it got there. This is a 10-2 game, but Winker with a triple. McNeil is in the lineup with some production. So, like, that is significant for the Mets as well. Alvarez doing anything with the bat is important. And, yeah, hey, good on the Mets for not only surviving early, but making this an 8-1 game and then a 10-2 game. And a lot of teams aren't coming back from that.
You're right about the first inning. A couple of weird plays. I mean, Shohei hits the ground ball, kind of like goes under McNeil's glove. That was a base hit. And then Mookie has the double that's off of Marte's glove. So it starts off, and the Mets fans have to be saying, "Holy shit!"
Worst case, dude. You're starting McNeil over horrible. Iglesias, who has some of the best hands of our generation. Oh my God. That feels awful.
Okay. Now that we're here, we're gonna just dive into this game. Why were they playing back? Like, in my opinion, in the way that I was taught, which is old school ball nowadays, uh, yeah, you probably play back there. It's second and third. There's nobody out. Let's exchange a run for an out. But
Yeah.
teams don't play that way anymore. The Twins and most teams now play up in every situation except for two outs. Like if there's a runner on third base, if there's a runner on second and third, you're playing up because the numbers say to play up. I have asked that question. I've been on broadcast saying what's going on. I go into the office and I talk to these guys about it. That's what they want to do. The Mets are back. Teo hits the ground ball to Lindor, who's back, and Shohei doesn't run. And this is a team who's like 70 and 30 when they score first. That was interesting to me. I didn't really understand that. It doesn't have to be a contact play. He could have breezed home right there, and he didn't do it. Freddie ends up lining out to Pete. Edmund K 0-0. You're totally right. If the Dodgers score right there, score one, score two, it's a completely different feeling. Jack comes out feeling completely different. You're pitching with the lead. It just is. And they don't. So great job by the Mets and Peterson of getting out of that. And then they just kind of open the floodgates. We mentioned Reed Garrett with the big strikeout. So they did avoid some big innings or some crooked numbers, if you will, from the Dodgers. And yeah, they had good at bats, man. In that bottom of the third when they went up 8-1, I mean, they had the leadoff hitter every single inning up until that point was on. In that third inning, Pete has a good at bat. He works the walk. Winker walks, Marte 2-run double, Alvarez 2-out RBI, Lindor 2-out RBI, Nimmo 2-out RBI. Like they were all kind of backbreakers during that inning, and just again got away from the Dodgers. They could never really make it close enough, and you had to know, I guess it wasn't going to be easy for the Dodgers. The Mets just haven't played that way during the postseason. Whenever they've had their backs against the wall, it's when they played their best.
Roberts, after the game, he said, infield back, corners in. That's the situation. Shohei's got to go on that ball up the middle of the infield. I think he just locked up there. It's no excuse. I wonder if, on the Mets side.
He said brain cramp. Okay, I haven't heard that one in a while.
On the Mets side, I'm just thinking out loud, like Shohei running. Like maybe you're just like, hey, we're probably screwed here. So, but I don't know.
In that situation, like I said, like I've been taught, and I think in my opinion, it is the right play with the speed like you're talking about, and you don't want to give up range and give up 2 runs when you can just exchange for 1. But that's just not what people preach anymore, man. Right. They're preaching ultra aggressive infield in, and they weren't there. And yes, Shohei had a misread right there.
And hey, who knows what, if we're missing some contest six, we are. Sound off in the comments, but I don't know. Is that managing? Is that because it's got to be tempting to bring the infield in on a do or die game for your team? So maybe that was over managing. Maybe it was a miss by the Mets. Who knows? But it works out for them. Trev, let's tee up the game 6 a little bit. And it's brought to you by Corona Extra. And whether it's a big home run or some old-fashioned small ball, that's what we talk about on here, or maybe just a great ballpark snack, that's kind of more my lane, there's always something to cheer for. The best beer to pair with awesome moments, it's Corona. It picks and it pairs well with baseball. It's Corona Extra. The other story I've told on the stream, Trev, I've been a Corona Light guy. Went to one of my buddies' B-Day parties. They had Corona Extras going. And I was like, oh, are they? I don't even. And they were like, yeah. And they've got a little extra to them.
You got a little diesel, huh?
It's no joke. So get yours at ordercorona.com. 21 plus, relax responsibly. Corona Extra beer imported by Crown Imports. Trev, I know I'm in Jakey Go mode, but this is interesting. Like, I've been caught up in a lot of the Yankees guard stuff. I'll be honest. Obviously, our guy Jolly is streaming, and it's one other series. But early blowout, like, it was kind of like, okay, let's check in. There's going to be a game 6. Let me check in on this Yanks guards. Sean Manaea
Yes.
pitching Game 6 for the Mets.
Yes.
Who started the only other game the Mets won this series, and he's been kind of their ace this postseason.
Already done it at Dodger Stadium once this series.
Coming off an off day where the Mets will have their good bullpen rested. That, in a dream Mets world, it's Manaea, handful of whatever matchup you need to Diaz for 2 innings, which he did today, if you need that. Budo, Maton, Garrett, Stanek, whatever you want to do. Is Senga a bullpen guy now? I don't know. Meanwhile, on the Dodgers side, and Mets, it's still do or die. Like, hey, we have to win this game to play tomorrow. So if Diaz has to go out there and throw 35, we'll do it, and we'll figure it out the next day. The Dodgers, it's not that simple, because if they're going to bullpen this, once relievers start entering that 20, 25, 30 range, you're starting to bring into question the next day just a little bit more that not only are they going to have to navigate a bullpen day, the normal way you'd think about, but Dave Roberts has to be, for his guys, for the guys on the back end there, he can't burn them out. Like, you can't, if it's a tied game or if the Mets were to take a lead late, like, you can't have Trinan or Kopech out there throwing 30-plus bullets. So, I don't know. I guess just another interesting wrinkle that the Dodgers not being in full do-or-die mode just adds another bit of a layer to it.
So I was thinking, okay, we saw a bullpen game already here. Brazier started it, gave the run. The Dodgers approached it wildly different than they did when they did the the bullpen game against the Padres. I'm looking at that box score right now.
Okay.
So for the Dodgers, I feel like was the ideal bullpen game for them. They scored some runs, but it went Brazier, 1 in the third. Then Banda came in for a lefty lane. He got 2/3 of an inning. Then it was Kopech in the 3rd inning. He pitched an inning. Then Vesia, who they do not have anymore, pitched an inning in 2/3. Then it was Evan Phillips. Then it was Hudson. Then it was Trinan. And then at the end there, it was Landon Knack when they were already up a bunch of runs. But they're missing Vesia, who threw an inning in 2/3. The guys have already seen Knack. They've already seen Brazier. I'm curious. I mean, this is now Dave Roberts being put into the situation that a lot of Dodgers fans are scared of. They're scared of Dave Roberts' decisions. That's what I hear all the time from them. Sure. He's been pretty dang good this postseason. I guess, like I said, he's done this before. I am 100% in on the Mets, easily forcing a Game 7. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but Manaea on the mound, bullpen game. There's in no way, shape, or form are the Mets I don't even think they're worried. I really don't. I think they feel like they're going to get a Game 7. I feel like they have all the momentum in the world, and who's to doubt them right now?
Yeah, it's interesting.
The way Manaea pitched in Game 2,
right.
Dude.
And the Mets, like you said, their back has been against the wall since Game 161 of the regular season, against the Brewers. It's just continued on and on for the Mets. I guess for me, the Dodgers, their back was up against the wall with San Diego, and they turned it on, and it was a ton of hitting, and it was a lot of pitching. And I think they were getting offended when we even said it was just bullpen, because they got some efforts out of Flaherty, Yamamoto, Buehler. But it's where the early runs, and I know this is broken record stuff, and guys, the team that gets ahead early. But seriously, think of the decisions Dave Roberts has to make if they're down, and the significance of that. If it's 1 run, sure. I mean, you're going out and you've got Hall of Famers in your lineup. You got guys who aren't Hall of Famers that can have a 3-homer game. You're going to go get that game. if it's a 3-4 run lead, if the Mets do something like they did today, I mean, I don't know. It gets interesting quick. And when the Dodgers were in this situation previously, their lineup did the thing, and they still can because they still have those guys. So if they go full throttle and they put the Mets down 5-1, well,
Sure. They can. They have that ability, 100%. I'm just saying this is a flashback to game 2 of the series. This is the exact same scenario. It's in Dodger Stadium, Manaea on the hill, bullpen game for the Dodgers. In that game against Manaea, Shohei went 0 for 3, Mookie went 0 for 4, Teoscar went 0 for 3, and Freddie went 0 for 5. It's kind of that's kind of the recipe. If you can do that again, do it, Mets. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Mookie is really feeling it right now. I think Shohei is going to be doing his thing. So in that essence, if you're the Dodgers, you have to feel pretty comfortable with the offense, and like you scored 6 runs tonight. You feel very confident in your ability to put up runs against this Mets team, no matter who's on the mound. I think my main point here is it has become a series again, like a legit series again. And yeah, man, I'm still waiting on the one back and forth thriller game in this series that we haven't gotten yet. But it could be as early as Sunday.
we will find out with the rest of you. Man, interesting. I mean, the Dodgers have the 2 shutouts. We'll find out this weekend. I think Jolly will be streaming. I think that's going to be on our JM Baseball channel because Yanks and Guards will be off on Sunday. But they will not be off tomorrow, and they played another absolute whirlwind of a game tonight. Massive Game 4 in Cleveland to see who would be the king of the heel between Luis and Gavin Newsom Williams, who will become the governor of Cleveland with a big start. Top 1, S-O-T-O, Soto. 2-run homer into the seats. Yanks in front. J-Ram, the sac fly, and him are underrated. Don't tell Booney. 2-1 after 1. Shall we shag now or shall we shag later? Yeah. Austin powers a solo shot. It's 3-1 Yanks. Heel gets nailered by Josh. He finishes 4 innings pitched, 2 earned run, 3 Ks. 3-2 after 3. It stay that way into the 6th. Hit the music. Giancarlo, let the rhythm take you over, Giancarlo. Te quiero. Moonshot homer. 6-2 Yankees. But these guard dogs are hungry. J-Ram and Naylor, they're eating. They both double it up and they wash it down with some fries as David ties it up at 6s in the 8th. Anthony, the Cleveland fans get more pissed off at all the Italians in the stands around them as Rizzo and Volpe single. Roki, no, E6. And it's getting cold in Cleveland as Glaber is too icy. No Christmas come early for Noel and the boys this time as the Yanks take Game 4 in Cleveland, 8-6 final.
You're getting too political now.
I know.
In your old age.
I guess I hit both sides. Sorry to bring your guy Gavin into it.
French Laundry Gavin?
I mean, I was, honestly, you know what? I'll peel back the curtains. 1, I want to apologize to Cleveland fans. I write these burns for talking Yanks. So this one has a little, leaning a little left for the Yanks, if you will.
Oh my God.
There could be better, I could add some more Cleveland to it, but to write another one of these, that's just a lot of work. The other thing, I forget what I was going to say. So let's see if I circle up on it later.
Who are you voting for?
I'm glad we've landed here. This one's more a beauty of Jake. I was like, Gavin Williams. Where am I going with this? I was like, what Gavins do I know? It was Gavin Newsom and Gavin.
From what band am I thinking of?
Gavin
Rosdale.
I like that. I don't know who that is. I went Gavin
Oh,
DeGraw. If you remember, Gavin
I don't know who
DeGraw had a
that
couple
is.
hits on It Don't Come Easy, no. So yeah.
Gavin Rosdale from Bush.
Oh, nice, dude. You just went a generation before me. I mean, I know
He's like the
Bush.
hottest. He's like a hot boy rocker. Of course, I know who that is.
Yeah, he's 58 now. Um,
I went to a concert and was with Olivia and like her friend, and Gavin Rosdale was on stage, and like
oh, I kind of
they were
remember
like,
this. I think this was on
yeah,
a Talking Baseball.
they were like looking. I'm like, hey, I can play the guitar, Liv. I'll do it. I'll strum a few chords for you back at home. Plug it in.
And then
No, I didn't say that. I didn't
we'll
say that.
take out the actual guitar.
Oh, hey, before we move on to this series,
Yeah.
the average deficit margin of victory in the Mets Dodgers series is 7 runs. Crazy.
Jeez.
Now we can talk.
Trev, where do you want to go, man? We live streamed this game for 4 hours. We recorded a Talking Yanks after. Crazy wild game.
No, I listened to this game the first like 3 or 4 innings. I was listening to Sterling and Susan call it. I was at Teddy's basketball game. So I was listening to that. It's such an interesting experience. I was talking to you guys before the episode how like they're a show in their own right. Like there are talking about the baseball game, but like they have all their quirks and like the things that they do, man. It's really funny. Obviously, I don't listen to a ton of Yankees games on the radio, but whenever I do, it's good. I'm happy that Sterling's back calling for the playoffs. It's great. Then I ended up watching the second half of the game. Like I watched the broadcast, so got a little bit of both worlds. I saw Giancarlo's home run. That was he's really just like putting himself in a different category for postseason players and for Yankees. That's reserved for the big boys. Postseason heroes with the Yankees get remembered for a long time, and he's really turned into that. The numbers are staggering, they're overwhelming, and I don't know what it is. The bright lights, whatever. It's the ultra focus. The intensity brings out something different in guys at this point, and he seems to answer the bell. But that was when he hit that home run. I was like, oh man, like this is over. And then of course it's not.
Right.
Of course it's not over. And the Guard Dogs come back in the game, tied up. I feel like I do have all sorts of questions for you. A lot of them Yankees related. But I saw the reactions of, the tying it up, the nailer knock, like another roller coaster game for you guys.
Yeah, so the Yankees, probably like a lot of, your teams do, they play by pretty strict bullpen rules during the season. Like guys aren't going to pitch 3 games in a row. Guys aren't going to pitch 4 out of 5 days. Like, in the postseason, obviously, some of that comes out the window, but the Yankees bullpen came into this game depleted. That, is one of the storylines for us, that, like, hey, there's going to be guys coming out of the bullpen in situations that, not to dub people or hit them with the too small, but if you're kind of a casual, you're going to be shocked to see Mark Leiter Jr., who wasn't on the roster coming into today, pitching in the 8th inning of a tied postseason game. So, yeah, it's probably a weird state of baseball episode for the offseason, but these bullpens get pushed, and it was part of the reason Yankee fans weren't necessarily in love with their trade deadline, and Yankee fans were hoping they'd get a Tanner Scott or another bullpen arm because there's a ripple effect in the bullpen. Anyways, the Yankees had the advantage early. Gavin Williams hasn't been great this year. He wasn't going to be super long for this game. And, the Yankees have seen the Guardians bullpen, but they had a little more rest on their side, a little more depth. So it was get to Gavin Williams. Boom. Juan Soto, 2 hitters in, 2-run homer. He's that guy.
Beautiful swing.
He watched Judge.
Fastball top of the zone.
He watched Judge and Stanton do it the night before. He said, let me join this party. That was massive. Giancarlo hits another homer. He's entering a rare air of postseason lore. He's 1-dotted in like 35 games. 6-2 Yankees. the Guardian, the Yankees had the advantage at the start of this game. Luis Gil, his first time pitching in the postseason. It's a fine rookie postseason start for a kid who hasn't pitched in 3 weeks.
Great pitch on Schneemann, that 3-2 cutter slider thing. That was absolutely nasty to get out of a jam right there. He is like Sterling the whole time that he was talking about Gil. It's like, man, like, I hate to be this simple about it, but if he just throws strikes, he'll be effective. And it's like, yeah, you're kind of right, dude.
That's
nasty right there. That was a good John Sterling impression right there, I think.
That was good. Not bad. I mean, you were locked in.
I wasn't even really trying to, then just kind of came out like that.
The Yankees are up 6-2. Going into the 7th. Cleveland punches back. It's Ramirez, it's Naylor, it's Fry in the next inning on just a crazy baseball play. And that was the other thing that, hey, as a Yankee fan, team won tonight. We're up 3-1, whatever. I did this last night after they lost. It's where baseball is beautiful and daunting that, man, there were some broken bat hits in this. There's some infield singles, and it's just, line drives that are going off the tip of people's gloves, and it's just like this game is so deliciously beautiful and sickening at the same time if you're on the wrong end of those plays that tonight could have went to either one of these teams. I mean, the Yankees used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 relievers. The middle 3 of the 5 relievers gave up runs. I don't know. It was another great baseball game.
It really was. I'm happy to see Josh Naylor. I love the at bat from him right there on the double that gets it to 6-5. They were talking about him and his brother on the broadcast and just talking about what it's like to play together. We've talked about that on our show before, but can you just imagine, man? Like, you're a big bro, you get the knock. You see baby bro do the same thing. That's a battle swing right there.
Yeah.
Good for him dumping that in there. The double in the gap was beautiful. But again, then just think about watching your brother like get a big knock and you're on the same team. And I don't know. It's just, I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough.
Right.
These are bros in the middle of the ALCS going up against the Yankees, dude. Like how special is that? I thought Vogt like did a good job, like kind of like bringing the guys in that he wanted, and Stan ends up getting Cade Smith. So now they've gotten to kind of like the Yankees have gotten to all of the A plus relievers. Cade Smith's got, Gaddis has got, Clase has got. And you can kind of say the same thing about Guardians getting to all the Yankees good relievers. So now it feels like as we move forward in this series, like, I don't know, like, is any lead really safe? Weaver doesn't pitch tonight. Mark Leiter looks like he gives up a homer to Noel. Like, that camera work was, I mean, I don't know what was going on there. I screamed. I was like, oh my God, he did it again. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you see Verdugo like at the bottom of the wall. You're like, what is going on here, dude? I was like, what?
Yeah, that. Yeah, it looked like Big Christmas did it again. And yeah, I guess I was feeling bad. Again, I am a Yankee fan. I very openly admit that. I guess Yankee fans were like pissed off, like, what the hell? What's that camera angle, dude?
Aren't you happy?
Yeah, I guess I just put on my Cleveland fan hat and I was like, oh God.
Yeah, that's Cleveland fans should be mad.
That's crushing.
If you're a Cleveland fan and you see that happen, you're jumping up and down like, oh my God, he did it again. And then all of a sudden you see the ball land in Verdugo's glove and nothing happens. You didn't even score a run.
Yeah.
It's the fly ball to left field.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Good note by you about them getting to Cleveland's relievers. Same with the Yankees. Getting up big for the Yankees was clearly important. And so I guess that, again, I know we say this about almost every playoff game, but this was Exhibit A for the Yankees, who Luke Weaver essentially was not going to pitch in this game. Clay Holmes on fumes, everyone on fumes. Um, and yeah, I guess, you know, we tilted our heads a little bit. They took Gavin Williams out at 2.1. It's probably the right move in hindsight looking at the box score. He gave up a home run to Soto and Austin Wells, who gets slid down the lineup
Yeah.
with a solo homer that, you know, in a tied game in the eighth, that will take that run. Williams looked like he was finding it a little bit. He threw a couple nice curveballs, but if you send him through the Yankees' meat of the lineup again with, you know, Soto, Judge, and Stanton, and he doesn't get out, then you feel like a fool. So I don't blame Vogt there at all.
We're kind of bouncing all over the place,
Sure.
but that's fine because this game was all over the place. Let's go to the bottom of the eighth.
Okay.
The I'm talking about Bo Naylor, and he doubles down the line, and Big Bro's watching it. I just think that was such a cool moment. And then Rocchio's up, and they showed, Rizzo. He always just plays down your throat. It's what he does.
Crazy.
You and him, throat gods.
What's that?
So Rocchio doesn't bunt, which
Yeah.
it's weird because just when you're moving the runner to third, you bunt to third. That's the whole thing. But I think Rizzo took the bunt away from him because he's like, I'll just hit it.
Right.
How about I try to get a base hit here? He ends up taking kind of like a crap swing, hits the ball on the ground. I think it was a great read by Bo Naylor because a lot of times you have to see that where the shortstop is. And you can see that it's softly hit, and the shortstop's not going to get you out. We have to worry about is the pitcher there. So to see it by the pitcher and then make the decision, he had a great read on that. So all of a sudden now, same thing as a bunt, third base, one out, Steven Kwan up. You're like, oh, this is easy money.
Yeah.
It's the pop-up. All of a sudden, 2 outs, runner on third base, David Fry. Cue ball.
Cue ball.
Cue ball. Leiter's got it. No, he doesn't have it. Oh my gosh. Oh, he's got it. Flip it. And I don't know what happened right there, man. It looked like Rizzo Beebs tried to get it from behind and pause it when the ball's like in the air if you can. If you know what I mean. It looks like he thinks he might want to barehand that. And then decides, no, that's not the play, and then tries to get his glove there, and it's just not in time. He was too slow with it. I think in that moment, he thought he was going to barehand it. Maybe didn't know exactly what Leiter was going to do with that ball. Like, was he going to flip it with the glove? Was he going to exchange it and flip it with the hand? Whatever the reason, he zoos this thing. All of a sudden, we got a tie freaking ball game, dude.
Trev,
What a crazy sequence of events right there.
I rewatched that play a few times, and I'll admit it, there's sometimes with baseball stuff I don't feel, a lot of the hitting stuff at that level, I'll pass it to you. I'll have a thought on it, but there could be something I'm completely missing. Defense, a little more comfy there and seeing a lot of ball. That this is a weird one, dude. I don't have the answer because Leiter, okay, I get your athlete instincts kick in and you might be able to field that cleanly, and he almost does. I think if he does the pitcher pull away, Glaber probably makes the play on that. Whatever. It's an athlete making a play in a big game. Don't fault him for that at all. Ball's rolling towards the first baseline. He goes, he gets it, he picks it up with his bare hand, which we've seen a lot of pitchers kind of struggle with that process. But now he's full tilt, now crossing the line, and he's pretty close to Riz that in an ideal world, I guess he pops it up and puts a little more air on it. I mean, there's another part of me that's like, should he almost just like bury it in Rizzo's chest and just, I don't know. It's a weird one.
Honestly, that was a perfect flip, dude.
Yeah.
It was a perfect flip. So Rizzo's moving his feet over to give him a lane, essentially.
Right.
But the one thing, like the first thing they teach you when you're learning first base, especially at any level, and I teach my kids this, but they really hammer it to you, is you have to expect a bad throw
Right.
every time you're going to get a throw from the infield, whether it's the pitcher or whatever. You just expect a bad throw. And what that makes you do is bend your knees. You don't make any movements until you see the ball in the air. That's when you start your stretch. This is a little different. Go keep that up, Beebs. I want to see that if you can keep it over there. He,
I mean, there it looked like the
he's
glove
bent.
was
He's
in him.
bent. He has the glove up and then it's lowered, so he goes down and just not in time. I think
But I mean,
it's
they're
hard for me to say in this situation. The game is going a million miles an hour at this time, but I don't think he was like down ready for a bad throw. I think he was just saying, yeah, hit me right here, and it wasn't right there. It was at the belt, tried to flip the glove over, and it just wasn't in time. That was crazy.
It's a weird one, and on the Yankees side, you see a play like that happen with a pitcher who got
And
added to
Fry
the
gets a
roster
single
today.
on it.
Yeah, crazy, right? And it was a cue ball, which we got to start saying on this show more because it was a cue ball.
Well, I think the right term would be a masse because the cue ball is just a cue ball.
Oh,
But when you spin it in pool, you masse it, right?
I don't know.
Whatever.
Dude. You're the French
It's
guy. Yeah, and on the Rocchio thing there, like he's been one of their better hitters this series, so you'd assume the bunt, but also, he's hitting 355 this postseason, so especially with Rizzo in. I'll be honest, this game could have get either way. Canely to come in for the save, like he gets a blessing of a call on Lane Thomas to start the inning on a 3-2 count. That if that doesn't happen, I can't promise you we'd be recording and we might be seeing Marcus Stroman pitching in the 15th inning right now. But Yankees get away with one at the same time. Juan Soto and Giancarlo Stanton, to a $300 million guy, probably a $600 million guy coming up soon. They both homer in this game. And yeah, Yankee fans are feeling pretty good, man. It's funny, the lineup, the pitching had been so dominant. Like, good start, kick it to Holmes, Canely, Weaver, maybe some Tim Hill action, who's been great. And then the lineup did enough. The past two games, the lineup has done enough, and the pitching's starting to fall apart. So depending if you're a glass half full, glass half empty, the Yankees have seen their team do anything that you'd want to see your team do in a postseason, so they're feeling good. And Cleveland is sitting there like, hey, it's 3-1. It could have been 2-2. And I think they're set up pretty good for tomorrow. But, Trev, you just had an odd reaction for everyone watching on YouTube and subscribing.
I went to Tim Hill's baseball reference page.
Yes.
Okay. We've done this before, and I don't know how I missed this. Okay. Number one, I was going there saying, should Tim Hill be a starter?
Whoa.
Never started the game in the big leagues.
What?
382 games as a reliever, never started the game. All I'm saying is, dude, like, give him the Shamania Chris Sale treatment, and let's just develop an ace. Like, can't we do that?
My only worry is he currently has 1.5 pitches.
Well, dude, just that arm angle it's like a whole new pitch just by changing your arm angle and throwing across your body. Everyone knows that. Let's go, guys. Get Yankees, figure it out. Next, what's really got me up in arms here is I'm pretty sure he went to school with Olivia in high school. Granada Hills High. That's where she went.
Dude, I was just going to say, I thought Jimmy might have went to a Granada, but...
No, this is Granada Hills, California.
Right.
This is Ryan Braun. This is John Elway. This is Olivia.
We've done this before. He's 34. Oh.
Yeah, she's 35.
She's... bleep it out.
That's fine.
Maybe...
I'm going to have to ask her if she knows Tim Hill.
Oh, boy.
Maybe I don't want to know the answer.
We've definitely
Maybe I don't
want to
know.
Too.
She's always been into ball players.
Okay. Hey, I guess this is just a random baseball thing. Tim Hill. Okay. Tim Hill, who's had a nice major league career for sidewinding underarm lefty. He's had a few very productive seasons out there. During his career, the 3-batter rule is added that hurts a guy like him. He was on the Chicago White Sox this year at age 34 to the tune of a 5.87 ERA over 23 innings. Now he is one of the high leverage pitchers for the New York Yankees. And it's where this sport wins again. IMO. I love all the sports. My original AOL username was SportsJake. Dude, Trev, over 44 innings in the regular season, how many strikeouts do you think he had? 44 innings.
In the regular season?
Regular season.
I'm going to go with 44.
18.
Yeah, I knew it was going to be less, but I was just setting you up.
It feels like every pitcher we look at either has more Ks per inning, they're right around it. I mean, this dude is playing the game completely different.
Do you know what I'm doing right now?
Okay.
I'm looking for Marcus Stroman.
Yeah, so are a lot of Yankee fans. I mean, dude, the Guardians are 90% lefty, and Stroman got rocked by lefties this year.
I'm just saying, you're talking about Tim Hill going from the White Sox to being a high leverage guy. The Yankees signed Marcus Stroman for $18.5 million per year.
Right.
For this year, next year, and then a player option. And we haven't seen him.
No.
I know it. I know there's been some struggle.
I think he was heel insurance tonight if things got ugly early, and then it got to the point that it got into the bullpen that, Trev, if this game went to extras, I mean, it would have been Tim Meza, who warmed up, I think, in 6 of the 9 innings, and Marcus Stroman. So, again, it'll be a weird offseason episode, but the way these teams navigate postseason bullpens is such a high wire act that, unfortunately, Marcus Stroman has been turned into an insurance policy. And
yeah, he has.
This team is a bit of a bad matchup for him.
That is such an interesting thing to think about now because we don't have the Manfred runner.
Right.
In extra innings in the playoffs.
Right.
So you have to have someone that could eat some innings just in case.
Yeah. I mean, the famous Evaldi outing for the Sox. I don't know. Any other quick hitters or big hitters you have for this one?
It's not real. I mean, the Class A thing's crazy. They were talking on the broadcast about his velo being down a few clicks. I mean, he was still hitting 100 every once in a while, but he was just middle of the plate, I guess, is what it is. And you have to give credit to Anthony Rizzo for having a nice at bat, getting on, leading off the inning after he zoos that ball. Like that's
Right.
a pro.
Right.
Volpe doing his thing. Like you have to give credit to the Yankee hitters for getting to him. Who he dialed it up on Wells. That was a tough at bat for Wells right there. Verdugo fists one for the run, whatever. But Class A, yeah, I mean, I in my opinion, I'm watching him pitch and I'm like, he's still nasty, but I think it really is just location. The sharpness is gone just a little bit because he's pitched so freaking much this year. So just that little bit of sharpness, he's dulled his pitches a little bit, velo down a little bit, and location. I mean, that's all those things just make him elite. He doesn't have them right now. The Yankees have been kind of exposing that.
I have a thought on that, and let's tee up the final game. It's brought to you by BetterHelp. This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. I mean, a lot of people this October are looking for BetterHelp, whether it's on the field or off the field. October's also the season for wearing masks, but some of us feel like we wear a mask and hide more often than we want. Whoa. A lot of us just got punched in the gut, huh? Well, with BetterHelp, maybe you can get the help you need. Fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists anytime for no additional charge. Take off the mask with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/TalkinBaseball today. Get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/TalkinBaseball. Link in the description. Guardians fans, you know your team better than me, so very open to any Class A commentary. the Yankees have a lot of professional hitters, veterans that they've been around the league for a while. They've shown what they can do. That I think when they get a pitcher with a limited pitch mix and that they've seen him enough, they put together pro at bats. Again, I don't think their recent success against Class A would continue at this clip. I think it's, what is it now, 6 out of 10 saves they've got to him. They traditionally struggle, and I don't know if it's preparation or being a pro or how good, whatever it is. They traditionally struggle if there's a pitcher with like a 6-pitch mix. Like they just saw like the Lugos and the Wakas. Like I think the guys in their lineup, the Judges, Stantons, Rizzos, if Class A's 80% cutter, whatever it is, I don't know. They've seen a lot of baseball. It's just a theory, and I'd love to hear more from Guards fans if Class A isn't as sharp.
I mean, yes, as a hitter, 100%, you'd rather face a guy with 2 pitches than 6.
Sure.
Even if the 2 pitches are better on average than this guy's 6 pitches, it's easier. You can eliminate. If one's not working today, you can eliminate and just sit. It makes game planning easier. So, yeah, but I do think a lot of it has been based on just location. And then, yeah, I mean, you've seen the guy, and that is the beauty of, watching these pros hit is adjustments get made, dude. Like, you make adjustments, and that is up to Class A now to make whatever adjustment he needs to make. And I don't know if he can do it, by tomorrow night, but that's the dance. So. Well, it's been interesting, man. You look at it, you still look at his stuff. It still looks really good. But like I said, even if it's just dulled a little bit, big league hitters are going to pounce on it, especially if it's over the plate.
We will find out tomorrow night. We'll be live streaming from the Talkin Yanks channel. Again, if you haven't been a part of it, it's a unique industry breaking.
Who's coming in tomorrow, bro? Somebody political.
Hopefully, I put out my
Mayor
feelers
Adams
tonight.
Is coming in. That's what I heard. Yeah.
He's got a lot going on from the SNL skits I've seen about it. That's where I get some of my news. I think that's even a political take, so I don't give a fuck. We'll be streaming tomorrow night on Talkin Yanks. I believe our boy Tanner Bybee will get the pill on slightly short rest, but he got pulled early from his start against Carlos Rodon, who looked really good against the Guardians. Continuation, the Yankees have no bullpen. The Guardians, you're going to have a lot of guys that are pitching probably on like a third day with an off day coming after. So we'll see. Honestly, I think it's going to be another grimy postseason baseball game. And whoever, maybe it's every game in this series. I think the advantage is Yankees early. If they don't take advantage of that, it's Guardians late.
Okay.
That's just me, dog. Hey, Guardians fans, don't tell Stephen Fote this. Start John Kensey Noel.
You're big on that.
We're terrified of him.
That. Hey, Carlos Mendoza, start Jesse Winker.
They did.
Yeah, they did.
And now look.
Hey, Aaron Boone, don't put Jazz Chisholm in the 4-hole.
Yeah, I'd like to think that changes tomorrow, but I don't know.
Maybe it doesn't.
I don't know. All right, Big Meech. Do it all again tomorrow.
Let's do it, baby.
Sorry for all the politics tonight, guys.
You were politicking.
God, it's that time of year,
Jigsaws.
Shaking hands, kissing babies.
Go out and vote, guys.
All right, let me ask you real quick.
Yeah.
My country club's been closed.
Such hell.
The range has been only mats. So today I'm playing tomorrow for the first time in 2 months. I went in front of the mats to hit off some grass. Just a couple balls. And the guy yelled at me. And I said, bro, it's ridiculous. Let me hit off some grass.
Am I wrong? If everyone's special, we have a problem.